Welcome to the Kahler Podcast, Episode 6. This time, we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. The studio that we have put into this facility, it's going to be something really cool that people who use Kahlers, they can come in and show their stuff. And we'll get to that later. But first, comments from last week. How you doing, Gary? You ready?
I'm fine. How you doing?
It's a good day. It's a good day. SAR Guitars 6603 says, the first Kahler I ever installed was a flyer. I carved the cavity using the exacto carving blades and a little at a time so as not to overshoot the intended shape of the cavity. It took about a week to do. Then I carved open the bridge pickup cavity from a single coil to fit the size of a Bill Lawrence humbucker. The worst part was actually opening up the hole in the pick guard for the humbucker and also removing the bridge area that was part of the pick guard. It was an early 80s Fender Bullet, which had a steel pick guard. It had to be about 85. That had to be in response from the guy the other week saying, would this be worth doing with a chisel?
I can't imagine doing that with an exacto.
I was thinking the same thing. It takes forever to do anything thicker than paper with an exacto.
I wonder how many times he cut himself with that.
God, yeah.
No, that'd be tough.
That would be rough. All right, moving on. zAvAvAZ. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. I had an ebony fretboard PV Vandenberg with a Kahler vibrato tremolo when I was recording with Slipknot back in the day. Slipknot. Ooh. That thing looks and played alien cool. You hear that? You're alien cool.
Alien. Okay.
Yeah, hey, man, I'll take it. I am now wish to configure custom Xiphos with the tremolo as well as a 10-string Xiphos with the Kahler. Thank you so much for being awesome, and hopefully shall get one of your new massive nut designs so I do not have to use that darn Fludd nut with my Kahler. Thanks so much. This is awesome.
Well, we have a 10-string.
Yeah.
Locking nut, 9-string, 7 and an 8-string.
7, 8, 6. Now, I know you've made 4-string bridges. Have you ever made a 4-string locking nut?
No, I haven't made a 4-string locking
nut. Or like
nut.
A 5-string locking nut? God, how would you even do that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I do remember you making a guy a 5-string bridge not too terribly long ago.
Yes, we did that. And you can use a string lock for something like that. Washishu66
says, spotted a first batch Badlands guitar in the back. Yes, you did. Okay, Gary, you probably don't know anything about this. When I was working on Lita Ford's guitar over on the other side, the workbench, right behind me is the first run of the Badlands GX-1 guitar.
Who manufactured that?
Nobody knows. This was a...
Maybe it just come out of the Badlands.
You know what? I think that's...
Riding a buffalo or something like that.
Right?
I suppose.
Well, see, now here's the thing, Philip.
Well, I don't know. Do you hell know?
I do. And actually...
Well, who is it?
There's a crazy story behind that guitar.
Okay.
Okay, so Philip McKnight, you know Philip McKnight.
I know Philip McKnight.
Philip McKnight and a couple other people, the Tone King, who I don't think you know of, and then 2 other people got together and they made a guitar company. And they claimed that everything that was made guitar-wise, I get neck and body, was done in California.
Oh, really? In California, did they use buffalo cakes to do that?
I have no idea. It kind of became a little bit of a guessing game because they wouldn't tell anybody.
Well, no. Who sold them? Dealers sell them?
The Badlands Guitar Company that was just formed.
Well, good for them.
I got mine, and it came from the same town that Sir Guitars is in.
Oh.
And I had been told by an industry insider that is not a member of Badlands Guitar Company.
Right.
That, I talked to those guys, and it was Sir. So I made this kind of cheeky video about it, and I was like, I won't say a word, Sir.
All right, Sir Guitar Company.
Well, but then...
How do you spell that?
SUHR.
Really?
Yeah.
I never heard of them either.
Are you serious? You've never heard of Sir? Most people can't say Sir without Tom Anderson in the same breath.
Well, Tom Anderson, of course.
Yeah. So anyway, this was really kind of a neat thing. They had a spec sheet, and every single piece on that guitar, even the knobs, even the neck plate, they said where the country of origin was of the part. You know, it's got a Goto bridge, and, you know, it's Japan and all this other stuff. The neck plate.
Why do you think they did that?
What they said was total transparency.
Oh, total transparency.
I don't know.
Maybe Fender and Gibson will do that.
Well, let's not poke the bear.
What about BC Rich? They could do that.
They could do that.
Aria.
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 Yes.
You got it right.
Praise the Lord. So anyway.
Pass the guitar.
Praise the Lord and pass the guitars. The thing about the Badlands GX-1 was very ambitious. And they said, you know what? We want to put out an 80s-inspired guitar. Actually, this was kind of in response to how ridiculous the prices of BC Rich for a used 80s BC Rich was.
Well, good for them. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah.
Congratulations to them.
Now, here's the crazy thing, is that they announced this guitar, affordable U.S.-made guitar, custom shop, custom paint job, $2,500. Okay.
Oh, okay.
While having access to all the wholesale, everything that I do, I looked at it and I tried to do the math, and I was like, this, like, maybe you'll make like $200 per guitar.
Somebody cared enough to get it started and build it and do it. And we all know that isn't that simple to do.
No, lots of people talk a good game, but then when it comes time to actually have the rubber meet the road, they all of a sudden they got other plans. Here's the interesting thing about this guitar. Limited runs, there is one Chinese part on it too. There's one Chinese part, and that's the neck plate, and it's because they wanted the neck plate to be like a raised thing, like they used to do in the 80s, and there's only one place that they could find to do that, and that was China.
Really?
Nothing else.
To buy a raised plate.
The
only people that had it was in China.
Yeah.
Well, where do you think China got the idea?
Right, and then nobody does it in America anymore. Isn't that something?
Well, there must be a reason.
I think more likely is they were like, how can we cut the cost on this guitar and sell it for the same price and have nobody notice? And they were like, let's just not do the fancy neck plate anymore.
Well, anyway, that was their business.
They said, we're going to do these things, and we're going to do them a limit of 50, like 50 guitars. Each one will be numbered, and then when all of a sudden that is sold out, then that run is retired.
Fine, retired.
And so everybody came on and said, how dare you? You should make these for $800. And if you made them overseas, then they could be $800. And I'm outraged.
Well, anyway, what happened?
They sold out in 3 days.
Well, good.
They sold out.
They're still in business?
Yes, but Philip McKnight has left the company.
Oh, really?
Here's the interesting thing. Philip McKnight did the QC on all 50 guitars.
Wait a minute. You said QC, meaning quality control.
Quality control. Philip McKnight, the YouTuber, did the quality control.
When is he going to do QC for our stuff?
I think we have to pay him.
Oh, we got to pay him to do that?
I think that we should have Philip McKnight out here.
Well, that's fine, too.
So anyway, Philip McKnight did the QC on everything when the end of the Redline, which is the first run, the GX-1 Redline is the name of that guitar. GX for Generation X, just like the X-Trem. Generation X.
Wonderful.
They get towards the end of the first run, and they were like, we did not expect to sell out, let alone sell out in 3 days. And so Philip McKnight said, well, hey, wait a minute. I want a production guitar. I don't want just the prototypes. I want a production guitar. So they were like, okay, fine. And they didn't shut down the website in time. And I bought Philip McKnight's guitar.
Well, wonderful for you.
Yeah, so that GX1 there that they're talking about is actually number 50. It's the very last one. And there was a little bit of, what are we going to do now? And Philip McKnight said, just let him have the guitar.
Okay, great.
So thanks once again, Phil. Okay, next comment. Okay, Sirpazuzu is back, and he says, by the way, I'm not Canadian, and Sean Drover plays guitar.
Well, I'm probably the one that said he was, and I didn't know for sure. So God bless him for getting back to us.
I have a friend who's got the Drover brothers playing on her album right now.
I'll be darned. His brother's a drummer, but also plays guitar, I think.
Yeah, that's what it says. It says Sean Drover plays guitar as well, just not as good as he thinks. Deniskmr says 8 ilu collab me shorkin opawatazidi fire.
Oh, my God. What the hell does that mean?
I have no idea, but it was funny as hell. Aaron Walker says, how do you clean up the frets? 000 steel wool, 400 steel wool. When you're doing steel wool, the best thing that you can do is get some of that blue painter's tape and put it over your pickups. It'll keep those that steel wool crap out of your pickups because those magnets grab it and it's next to impossible to get out of there.
Okay.
Yep. But if you get it stuck in there, take some of that same tape and stick it on there and then pull it off the pickup and that stuff should come right off. Okay, Holocult says, thanks for answering my question, guys. I really appreciate that. Hopefully there's enough demand where we can start bringing these brass bridges back into guitars. That would be amazing. On the topic of pronunciation, there's actually a really good video on a different whammy tremolo systems, and Kahlers are mentioned in high regard comparison. Unfortunately, the YouTuber mispronounces Gary's last name terribly, something along the lines of Kahler. Araya guitars are amazing, and hopefully the man, the legend, the Canadian speed metal master Dave Carlo can link up with you guys and talk about his Araya Urchin that he fitted with a Kahler.
It's Aria.
I did say Aria.
No, you didn't. You said Araya.
Did I?
Yes, you did about 4 times.
I must be possessed and talking in tongues.
You can do that if you want. God bless you.
No, thank you. Aria. Dave Carlo. Do you know Dave Carlo?
No, I don't.
I don't know Dave Carlo either, but you know what? I'm going to look him up because
got a cool last name, Carlos.
Yeah, Carlo, even cooler.
Yep.
That's like James Bond, Dave Carlo.
And another thing, you can call me Kahler, Taylor, Caller, whatever you want.
Caller. Yeah.
That's all right. Just buy my stuff.
Now, I actually know who he's talking about. I've seen this. This guy, I think he's got a doctorate in music. He's got really long dreadlocks, and he's an amazing guitar player. And I have seen this video, and I actually reached out to the guy and said, hey, by the way, you are mispronouncing this, and if you're ever in Las Vegas, swing by and let us show you some really intense stuff.
I can mispronounce my name only once.
Hey, another one from Aaron Walker, 5990. Love the F1, but with the super dry fretboard, I'd use a thinner oil first for penetrating, hit the F1 for a final coat. It may be unnecessary, but it helps me sleep at night. If it helps you sleep at night, then go right ahead. He's talking about the Lita Ford guitar and how dry that fretboard was, and it really, really, really was. As I said before, the wood is dead. It's not trying to drink. It can't choke. It can't, don't worry about it breathing or anything like that. But if it gets too dry, that wood will crack. And that's why we oil the fretboard. I used to do lemon oil until I found out that it's an illusion. It doesn't actually make it doesn't actually do what you think it does, and then the fretboard gets even drier eventually. The F1 stuff is great, and if it's extra dry, I just do it twice, and it works fantastic. JB-yo1iq says, love the podcast. A couple episodes ago, you guys talked about Phil and Vivian from Def Leppard. I was hoping you would mention Steve Clark. Steve used 2200s on his Les Pauls during the Hysteria tour. Does Gary have any stories about Steve? Now, Dave's story, he was really the good buddy of the guys in Def Leppard, right?
Well, yeah, he talked a lot to the Def Leppard people.
Do you got any stories about Steve Clark? He didn't use a Kahler as much as Phil did.
I really don't. Not that much. I was just, because in the beginning, they're very important in the early 80s.
Oh, boy, were they.
And they had some hits, and they were doing good.
Oh, boy, did they.
They were neat people to deal with. They really were.
I can only imagine. I hear that every now and then they have a residency here in Las Vegas. We should see the next time they come in town and see if maybe they want to come on and talk about Dave's story.
Well, yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great, particularly Colin. That would be good.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Steve Clark's no longer with us, so... but it would be great. And I think Vivian Campbell's still in Def Leppard. So that would be really cool. I don't think either one of them play a Kahler now, but maybe they will again.
Well, I know Phil is some on his guitars, whether he's playing it at the moment we see him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
A lot of these people got 150 guitars, so who knows?
owning a lot of guitars. I have no idea what that's like.
Well, you got a few around here.
Maybe one or two.
You're not even a performing musician.
I'm not even a rock star.
You're just a lowly luthier talking on a podcast.
Oh, I'm even less than that. I'm just a guitar tech.
Oh, my God, with merciful fate on your shirt.
Why, thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
Yes, fate can be quite merciful. Old Man Rocker 227 says, I have a BC Rich bitch back in the mid-80s. It had modded with the Kahler and EMG 81s. Unfortunately, the headstock got broken when it fell off my guitar stand. I ended up giving it to a friend for parts.
Which part did he give? The broken off headstock?
Gosh, I don't know. Now, here's the sad part, is that a broken headstock is actually not that tough of a repair, if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you'll completely screw up the guitar. I actually had a friend have a guitar with a really bad broken headstock repair, and he called me up and asked me if I could take all the parts off his guitar because he knocked it over and re-broke it. I told him that was great news because I could finally fix it correctly.
Well, I'll tell you, I know you're a luthier, but I'm a farm boy, and what we would do if you broke that headstock off, we would simply take baling wire out of the case baler we had, wind it up with a pair of pliers, and by God, it'd never break off again.
I'm a commercial diver, so we do it with duct tape.
Yeah, you didn't deal with baling wire on duct tape, wouldn't hold it.
It shows you what you know, because I did deal with baling wire underwater, no less.
That's wonderful. I want all the folks to know that, how important that is. You can see that helmet over there.
Check it out. Here, I think I can do...
Oh, my God.
Wait for... Oh, nope, that wasn't it.
It'll probably start moving once you find it. There it is.
There it is. There it is.
I gotta get my Nebraska hat while you're at it. What we'll do, we'll just set it right there.
There you wait a minute.
There he is. Now, I guarantee you, everybody from Nebraska didn't know that you could go 250 feet down in the ocean with a Nebraska straw hat on.
I like it. It's kind of dapper.
All he needs is some, overalls. It would go good.
You know what? In Louisiana, they wear overalls, and they've got these white rubber shrimping boots.
Oh, God.
They call them Cajun Reeboks. Okay, moving on. Petra Grossly, you know what? I'm sorry if I'm mangling these names. 1133 says, awesome episode. I really enjoyed the editing. Haha. Okay, thank you. Also would love to see a full tutorial on a 2300 setup since I just recently got a Model 4 with one. First, congratulations on getting a Model 4 with a 2300. That is one hell of a guitar.
Well, we'll talk about that 2300, the whole series. Those are the flat mounts. And we might get into that in a couple of podcasts.
Something that a lot of people, I don't think, really realize, and I know that until I started tearing them apart, I didn't. That 2300 has been through a lot of refinements, most of them under the hood. You can't even tell. The cam, different things. It'll be really interesting for you to talk to everybody.
Oh, we can do that. That would be interesting. Both the 2300 and 2200 stud series. So, we've made a lot of refinements on it through the years.
And we still, every now and then, we'll get that one person that calls up and wants us to go through the entire warehouse to find one screw for something that was made back in 1986.
Well, that's okay. I understand them. If we don't have it, we try to help them. Generally, we have some very uniquely made screws that are custom made for us, but not that many. And I would say at least 60% of those screws you could find at an Ace Hardware.
Probably have a hard time finding them at Lowe's or Home Depot. They don't carry much.
No, but Ace and True Value, they carry a lot of odds and ends.
Do we have a diagram that tell everybody those screw sizes, pitch, thread, all that kind of stuff?
Oh, so we have them on some of them, not all of them.
Okay, well, we'll have to work on that.
Yeah, you can work on that. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I certainly will. Okay, and that's it for comments from last week. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut away to a previously recorded piece where we're going to talk all about the recording studio that we're putting in here at Kahler. And we're going to have this open to our players and, regional people. Just, if you happen to be vacationing in Vegas and you want to come by a bridge, we'll sell you one and maybe, record something. I don't know.
The reason we have these podcasts is to inform you and try to explain exactly what our product's about, what our features and benefits, and the proof of that product is. And there's nothing better than to have a musician here that that's playing the unit and says either likes it or doesn't like it, that kind of thing. And that's why we're putting the studio in the recording studio as well as the podcast. This is kind of the new way of reaching folks out there, and please do ask us any question you want. We'll get back to you.
I've known Bobby for a real long time. He's absolutely fantastic. If you're in the Louisiana area or somewhere close and you need anything that resembles what you see here or the recording studio, you can certainly get a hold of Bobby Boudreaux. He is really, really worth every single penny and just a really, really great guy to work with.
And I want you to know that Bobby didn't pay us for that ad. In any case.
Yeah, that was part of the deal we made.
Part of the deal? Okay.
It was an undisclosed amount of money and a fatted cow and that little stunning endorsement right there.
Oh, stunning. Yeah.
Stunning, absolutely. Okay, and with that, let's cut away to that interview. Already in progress. So today what we're going to talk about isn't so much the bridges, but it's more part of what we're doing to be a little different and be more centered towards the end user. We've put in this big facility and there's a performance room and a green room and some other things. This is a really big job, bigger than we originally thought. And we thought it was going to be a big job.
No, I thought we'd get it done quicker, and it also took a hell of a lot more money than I thought.
Yeah. No, this has been quite the investment. Once we started the podcast, then we've got deadlines to meet every week, and this is time consuming. So I needed some help. I had somebody that I've been working with for a real long time. I've known this person for about 25 years, professional musician who also earns a lot of his living doing studio work, both audio and video, and that is my friend Bobby, who I've done a lot of stuff with in Louisiana. So Gary and I worked out how to get him down here, and that would be Bobby Boudreaux right there.
Hello, how's it going?
So this was really interesting because for anybody who hasn't been to Louisiana or you've seen, swamp people or something like that, Louisiana's
not just like that.
It's not like that. It's a little like that, but it's not just like that. This is the first time you ever got on an airplane, Bobby.
That would be very correct.
What was that like?
Having a fear of heights was a whole different thing. But I'm here. We did the job. Everything's cool.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you, facing that to come out here and help us out.
Pretty much after we finish here, I get to get it back on a plane and go back home.
Think pleasant thoughts. Bobby came here knowing full well that he was coming here for work and not for fun. How many people told you, hey, when you're in Vegas, check out this?
I was told to go to the Sphere. I was told to go see the Grateful Dead and company and all kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, guys, I'm there for work. We did get out, but we'll more on that later on.
The thing is, I kind of feel sorry for anybody that works for me because I'm going to ride you hard. Well, I think that's a pretty fair thing to say, right?
Yeah.
Well, probably not hard enough.
That still sounds so wrong.
You just got to get the damn job done so we can get on with it.
Actually, you went to school at SLCC, right?
For information technology, which helped me troubleshoot a lot more of the stuff that's going on with the audio portion of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it's starting to become network, and then not only that, but you have Thunderbolt, USB, and all this other stuff going on. But there's another part where you have network ability to control mixers and things like that.
Day one, I don't even know the proper way to say this. What you established a second network, and we hardwired all the Ethernet in this area right here. Now, that was just day one. That immediately doubled our speed. So, before we would not have been able to go live, but now we can. Then after that, it was setting up the recording studio, the Raven. The thing that I think you were the most interested in, Gary, was the PTZ camera up there, the thing that's really the most important for our close-ups in this podcast.
Well, that works. Nobody's seen it yet, but they'll see it soon.
Well, you know what? I can show them right now. Check this out. Let me give you a good view of this. What I can do is I can go from just with the push of a button that goes right to where Gary is going to be working on something. If you are doing anything with a bridge, I can get over there, and we're right there. We can zoom
Well, you're working with a joystick over there.
Oh, it's very fancy. Very fancy indeed. And we can do all kinds of other neat stuff too. Like, here's one. So I can go from there. This is just pushing buttons. This is automated. I'm not doing anything in particular, but then I can go right back and let's see. So there we are. But that right there is our default for where the camera sits. Another thing, getting back to the recording studio part. Now I've got a Pro Tools Ultimate Macintosh set up with the Raven, about a jillion plugins, and Bobby had to go through and make sure all the plugins were up to date, everything was good, all that stuff.
No, we need to talk about the preamp.
What about them?
Why am I giggling?
Oh, yeah, I got really sick. We'll get to that in a second. I was doing everything that I could to finish out the day on, what was it, Friday? I hooked up one DB25 cable in the perfectly wrong place. And I was just like, okay, it's hooked up. I got to go to bed. Bobby sat there. It out. Yeah, troubleshot for a while and had to finally trace it down to this thing that was plugged into the wrong DB5 cable.
An input should not be plugged into an output.
Yeah, shut up.
Simple mistakes cost time.
That was a test, and you passed.
Cost time and money.
Oh,
yeah, most definitely.
Most definitely the money. But then the very next day, I got so sick. And that gave Bobby and Gary a chance to go over to our friends at Six Gun Guitars.
Yep, we sure did. Went over there, and we saw them, and
very cool place.
Their collection.
Yeah, very different place than what the normal situation is, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we really have to get Six Gun on here because it's like a husband and wife team.
Oh, that's very much so.
They are extremely dynamic. They work in tandem so well together. They should write a book. Fortunately, by the end of that Saturday, I was feeling better. So Sunday, we got a chance to go hang out at the Hard Rock Cafe, show Bobby around, check the place out. They treat us great at the Hard Rock, too. They're really
they
cool.
Sure do.
Got a couple guitars with Kahlers in there. Love their Slayer display, the Kerry King thing.
You did a podcast or something from there.
Yeah, I did a little live stream on Facebook just to see, on the Kahler page, just to see if people would enjoy it. And a bunch of people did. They watched it and they looked at it and they thought it was really, really cool. Those are the highlights. There's still a couple things left to do. This is an incredibly big week for us here at Kahler. We've got so much going on this week. And Bobby, as we said before, getting ready to go catch a plane in a couple hours.
Mm-hmm. Almost pretty much after this is done, we're going to probably get out of here.
Yep, sure are.
I have a lot of work to do, so there's no point in me being in the way anymore.
It certainly would have been so much more difficult without your assistance, and I really appreciate it so much.
Well, I appreciate it that it's getting done. It'll be productive.
Like sometimes it does take a second person to make some of this stuff happen and everything else, and supposedly, especially when you got different things going on for the business.
That's really about it. So until next time, special guest Bobby Boudreaux.
Yep, we're very happy to have Bobby here, and he's done a great job on the technical side.
Yeah, you guys are going to see a whole lot more from us, and we're going to get a lot of different players in here that will be able to actually really get down to business and show you what they can do and why they chose our bridges. So, until next time, this has been Eddie Kernan.
I'm Gary Kahler, and thank you.
We'll see you next week.